This is the ForceUSA G15 Pro. This is an all-in-one rack featuring two 289-pound stacks, a full functional trainer, a full squat rack, and the ability to use a Smith machine. Basically, they're trying to pack everything you use in a commercial gym into one squat rack. But with their other options that are out there, as well as companies like Rep Athena, the Aries, and others, can this still claim kingship over the all-in-one squat rack? Let's find out. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm reviewing the ForceUSA G15. I've reviewed the G3, I've reviewed the G20, I've also reviewed pretty much all of their competitors, like the Inspire fitness racks, as well as the Rep Athenas and Aries and others in the world, as well as the really cheap units like the Major Ludies and the RitFits. If you'd like to see any of those or see future videos, make sure you subscribe because we do a lot of this type of content. Also, if you'd like to see the other ones, you can check our backlog. But this one today is on the ForceUSA G15, which I would say is one of the first companies to really come out with an all-in-one unit, and they still feature things that other companies don't, which I'll go through. But the biggest question I want to answer today is, how does this compare versus all the others on the market, and is it worth buying? I'll tell you honestly at the end of the video. Now, before I get into the review, ForceUSA did send this so I could do a full review, but it will be an honest review like we do all our videos, and if you'd like to purchase it, I'll put a link below the like button that you can check out. They'll pay a small commission, but won't increase how much you pay. Okay, let's get into the review. Okay, the front half is used like a traditional squat rack, so not a power rack, but more like a half rack. Reason being, there isn't another post, so you're not lifting inside a cage. Personally, I prefer lifting that way. Other people prefer it other ways, but to pack in as much as here into one small package, which this is designed for homes that really don't have a just crazy amount of gym equipment everywhere. You want to have one piece in one spot that can do a lot. That's really ideal. It does come with J hooks, which are they're just okay. They're really ugly J hook. They do have this like nice, it's kind of nice rubber that's on here that does protect your barbell, but overall I've seen much better J cups than these. I'm just gonna say that. But in addition to that, they also have half spotter arms. One thing I'll say on these, half spotter arms are really nice because they allow you to have some safety when you're actually benching alone, which is really needed. But it's really nice when they extend out from the rack pretty far, because when you're benching alone, sometimes you don't get all the way back, and also you're doing things like incline bench that force you to be a little bit farther out. These, in my opinion, are a little bit short. I wish they made them a little bit longer.
This video is brought to you by Element. Element is a sugar-free electrolyte drink mix. We actually reached out to Element because I've been using Element as a subscriber, paid subscriber, for over a year. I actually drink these every single day. Not kidding. It's one of the most simple supplements that's out there. It's an electrolyte drink mix. Actually, one of the things that Element talks a lot about is you need more salt in your life. You need more salt in your diet. Most people think they have too much sodium. The reality is they don't, especially athletes. So this is one of the easiest and actually one of the most enjoyable ways to add electrolytes to your routine. You open your individually sized packet of electrolyte drink mix, you pour it into a bottle of water, you put your cap on, you shake it, and then you chug it. It tastes delicious. There's lots of different flavors. And if you're dealing with any sort of headaches, midday fatigue, cramping, those sorts of things, I've actually found if I take one of these midday, usually it'll take me from like the midday slump and I'll be back to normal. And they taste delicious. Many different flavors, the ones I'd recommend. I like grapefruit the best, but they also have citrus. Also, if you want to put one in your coffee, the chocolate ones are available as well. If you're a part of the GGR community, that's you watching, if you would like to get Element and receive a free gift just for you, use the link below the like button and you'll be able to get a free sample pack of Element, and you can be electrolyted just like I don't think it's a word, by the way, but delicious. Oh, that is good. Oh man.
But the uprights they're using is a 2" by 2" upright. They're using laser cut holes all through the front and some on the sides as well. The ones on the sides though are a different shape. The reason they are is so that the functional trainer can attach to them. But there is a lot of holes, as you'll see. They're actually 1" on center all the way through the entire upright rather than just through the bench area. Like a lot of racks you see that have west side hole spacing, they just decided to do it all throughout, which I prefer. One thing you'll notice is they are chrome. The chrome looks cool, but the real benefit for the chrome, again, is for the functional trainer. They look cool, they won't corrode, but they're also etching instead of laser cutting the actual numbers that are on here, so they're not decreasing the strength. So they do laser cut numbers every 5 increments. I wish they just did them for all. I think it'd be nice, and I don't think it would cost that much more for them to do. They're already running it through, but they're also doing it on the side. And the reason they're doing it on the side, again, is for the functional trainer. Now to the functional trainer. The functional trainer is using trolleys on the front. This, I think, is one of the most interesting parts of this machine, is the ability to have a full functional trainer. Now, there are some downsides to a functional trainer within a rack. One of the most significant ones is the wingspan. It's just not that wide. You're gonna have that no matter what rack you go with that has a functional trainer inside. Say the Ares or Athena, they're still gonna have a similar width that isn't crazy wide, and so you're not gonna get a crazy stretch. But for most people that are training at home, the compactness is a bigger benefit. Now, one thing that's cool about these is they're using 289-pound stacks. These are massive stacks. In fact, when you get this in, part of the process is the assembly, and something that I guess I'll comment on while I'm talking about it. The assembly on this is not the greatest in the world, but it's also not as bad as their old versions. Say the G20, when we first got it years ago, took like 40+ hours for Sam to put it together.
One of the most daunting, most time-consuming, largest pieces of we have ever put together here at GGR.
This one was about half that or even less. Part of that reason is because they're actually pre-assembling some of the parts now after we give them some critique. Put that lightly. The biggest thing to call out, and something that I think ForceUSA could do a better job of, and if you have this rack before you assemble it, watch this video, because the cable lengths are slightly different. One is just slightly smaller, and if you mix them up, you're gonna mess up the whole assembly and get really frustrated, and they don't identify them in the package. So ForceUSA, identify them in the package. And also, anybody that's putting this together, just make sure you have the right length for the right spot. But the 289-pound stacks isn't just one, there's two. And the reason there's two is so that you have one independently for each side. Now, this is, I think, the biggest benefit to the G15 over the G20, and also many others that are out there. This is actually a really smart feature that I love, and that is this right here. You may be wondering, why are there 2 exit points on the functional trainer trolley? That's because this can switch from a 2-to-1 ratio to a 4-to-1 ratio, which is awesome. 2-to-1 basically means you have a 290-pound stack. That means you're gonna have a 145-pound feel weight at the end. If you do a 4-to-1 ratio, you're gonna have 72.5 pounds, but you're also gonna increase the travel length each time. What that means is you're able to switch very quickly from different weight increments, and depending on the movement you're doing, you're able to have a lot of travel. I absolutely love this feature. It's patented. I wish other companies would do something like this too. I think it's a great idea. One thing I will say though, I would absolutely love if this went from, this is for me personally, 1-to-1 to 2-to-1. The reason 1-to-1 would be really nice is you are going to use this for lat pull downs and low rows. For me, because I'm just so massive, no, most people do a lot more than this, but if you're doing a low row, you're gonna need a lot of weight or lat pull down. 145 pounds may not be enough for some of you for low rows and lat pull downs. So having the ability to go from a 1-to-1 to 2-to-1 would be really great, because then you're able to have the cable travel that you'd like for functional trainer, but also able to have the weight that you'd like and be able to use really the full stack for a 1-to-1 for things like lat pull downs and low rows. So small critique, but I will say overall, I absolutely love the trolley design, other than the fact that they put their logo upside down. Bad idea. I mean, design 101, never put your logo upside down. It's kind of like, you know, like if you're wanting to say something bad about something, you always flip it. They did it themselves. Just put that F the other way. Just something minor. But I will say the trolley does allow for quick movement up and down. They do swivel. This is not as nice of a trolley as what we see on the Ares or Athena, but overall does allow you to get a decent amount of height for lat pull downs and stretch for functional trainer exercises, but does allow you to use a really heavy stack in the back, which is kind of cool because they're actually implemented towards you. Very few companies I've seen that actually do that. This is one of the only ones. So you can actually change them very easily rather than them being in line with the rack like you see with the G20. Now, the other thing about this rack, and one that a lot of companies haven't really come out with yet, I actually suspect that more companies will do these. I've been waiting for somebody like Rep to come out with a Smith machine attachment. Eleiko has one, but it's just very expensive. But ForceUSA is adding a Smith machine in here as well. Very similar to what's used on their G20. This allows you to have a Smith machine, but the difference between this one and the G20 is this one is actually offset with weight. So these cables run around just like in a commercial machine, all the way up, down, and then these tubes right here, there's actually a 40-pound weight in these tubes. That basically makes the bar nothing. Like, it's literally nothing. So depending on who you're training, say kids or elderly, different people, depending on the population, you're gonna be able to get whatever weight increment you'd like for whatever type of movement you'd like. I really like that feature. Most Smith machines get really heavy when you factor in all this extra weight that's here if they're not offset. So they can actually be upwards of like 65, 70, 75 pounds at a start weight, which for some people is too heavy, and for some movements. I really like that feature. I think it's very smart. The other thing, just because this is an honest review and because I'm a barbell nerd, this knurling sucks. This knurling is really bad. It's very passive, which passivity is fine for, I think for something like this is fine. They do have a center knurl, but if you look, it's just like they put no thought into the knurling on this. Like, it's just double tracked in places. It also has feathering. It's just, I know it's a Smith machine, so a lot of people that are using a Smith machine don't care, but for the price, I just think this could be more dialed in. Now, one other thing I wanted to call out, this is something that Sam pointed out. I thought this was a great idea. You have all this weight stack that's sitting here. Why not make it more usable by being able to use the stacks that you have by attaching them to the Smith machine? Companies like Inspire give you the ability to do that. If they were able to make this pulley come around and then swivel all the way back, you could possibly have the ability to use the Smith machine with the stack. Right now, you can kind of use it, but it rubs the cable on the pulley. It's just, like, I wouldn't use it like this in its current state, but I think ForceUSA should think about how can they make this pulley so it can turn all the way around and then attach onto your Smith machine. Then you can use both the stacks and Olympic plates to use your Smith machine. I think that would work awesome. Now, one more call out before I call about the price, and that is the pulleys. There are a lot of pulleys on there. As you can expect, you've got the 2-to-1 and 4-to-1 ratio on the functional trainer. You also have cables for the Smith machine. So there's just a lot of pulleys routed all throughout, but this is the problem. This is not a budget piece. Like, it's just not priced that way, but they're using budget parts. They're using nylon pulleys, and not even like commercial nylon pulleys. Like, I've got nylon pulleys on my free motion machine at my house. These are a cheaper nylon pulley, like more plasticky. The competitors you're gonna look at, like the Ares and Athena, are using aluminum pulleys. I think for the price, ForceUSA should not force an upgrade, which I don't even think they have an upgrade for aluminum pulleys. I think they should just come standard with aluminum pulleys. It's gonna provide a smoother experience. They also won't wear out as much. They just look better. I think this is really designed, it's called their Pro. It's designed to be a really higher end machine. Like, I think they should have aluminum pulleys. Okay, now to the price. This thing is $5,500. It does now include free shipping, but man, when I consider everything that's here, maybe years ago when there wasn't as many competitors out there, but honestly, I have a hard time recommending this at that price. When you have companies like the Rep Ares, Rep Athena, you also have companies like Bells of Steel with their Hydroline series coming out with more and more options for functional trainers, lat pull downs, all those sorts of things. I've also seen other companies, I can't talk about them right now, that are coming out with racks too, that also have all-in-one stuff. There's just a lot of companies that are coming out with those options, and they're all pricing them much cheaper. For instance, a Rep Ares, which has a lot of things that this can't do. The only thing that this can do that those can't is the Smith machine, but it's about half the price. I mean, when you consider that, it's like, man, this is really hard to recommend, because the only thing that this has, the really redeeming quality, is the unweighted Smith machine, which I think is a great feature, but you have to decide, is it worth spending almost double of a Rep Ares or Athena that has better quality and I think is better designed for the Smith machine component? You have to decide that, but this being an honest review, I have a really hard time recommending this. If I was gonna get one of these, if I was looking at ForceUSA and I was gonna get this one or the G20, personally, I'd probably get the G20. I like a little bit more of the features that they have there. One other caveat I'd say is it is so hard to figure out the differences between these racks. They have the G15 and the G20. There is so many similarities between them and only a $500 difference. And honestly, on their website, it's really hard to tell the differences. Only somebody like me that has them both in-house and can like look and choose is really able to figure it out. So I'd say to ForceUSA, get rid of one of them. Like take the best features of them, combine them into one and just sell the one. It's so hard for home gym owners to figure out which ones to get. The other thing I'd say is when you're looking at this one, if you like these options and would like something that's cheaper, we have done a review on the G3. The big reason that that's so much cheaper, and it is vastly cheaper, is it's plate loaded. If you're fine with a plate loaded rack, that's definitely the way to go because it's way cheaper and features pretty much all the same stuff as this. The difference is, and the reason this one costs so much more, is the added weight of the stacks and how much that costs on their shipping. And because they're baking that in, that's why the price has to increase. There are things about this though that are really nice. It's just, man, the price. I just think they either need to lower the price or pack more features and quality, things like better bars, things like better aluminum pulleys, all of those sorts of things to compete on the market. Okay. There's my honest review of the ForceUSA G15. Do you have the G15 or any other ForceUSA product? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. And if you would actually purchase this over other companies like Inspire, or now you have like Reps and all those other strength companies that are really focused on that and are implementing them into their 3x3 racks. Would love to hear from you. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.